Hello, and welcome to the Behavioral Business Blueprint channel. I am your host, Arthur Harrison, and today I want to give you the top three things you should know before you decide to start a residential group home business. Now, these three things are things that I have learned from my own personal experience of having a licensed group home here in the state of Florida. Every state's different, but I believe the information you'll receive today can be applied to any state, country. So let's get you started. Number one, you have to know the zoning laws. That is one of the things that will be needed whenever you decide to go that licensed route, or even if you, for some reason, want to do unlicensed, you need to understand zoning and what is allowed and what is not allowed. And a lot of times, what I've seen from some people is, they get excited, they find somebody that will either, you know, allow them to lease their home for this type of business, or if they're deciding to buy, they hurry up, buy the home, but they never thought to think about zoning and what's allowed and what's not allowed. So, from personal experience and from what I've seen, never, ever, 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 ever pick a home in the HOA. That's just asking for trouble. And luckily, I got word of that, so I didn't have to personally experience that. But just from looking at different blogs, Facebook groups, there's no need to put something in the HOA neighborhood because that is a battle on its own. And you have to look also when you're looking at your zoning laws, you have to see what's allowed. In some licensed facilities need to have a certain zoning allowment. Like it can't just be a regular residential home or a commercial home. It might need to be a community residential home, which is different than your traditional residential home. But that's just something that you need to look in just to make sure that you're prepared and that the money that you're already starting to invest is being used, because you would hate to start a business or just getting in the beginning of starting, to get that house license just to find out that is not allowed in this neighborhood. I mean, that is a lot of money down the drain, especially if you've gone as far as getting sprinklers, fire alarm. Some people require a generator. So that is that first number one. Now, let's go to number two. And I'm going to speak from personal experience. Originally opening up, the group home here in Florida, we were licensed, super happy, just ready to take anybody because, after you've gone and done all the work that's required, you have definitely made an investment into the property, into that business. So you want to start to be able to recruit, slowly some of the funds. So you need, residents. And what I would tell anybody is you need to have a niche. For us, what we're doing now, our niche is, kids with developmental disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, anything like that, any kind of cognitive, differences that they may have, for maybe a neurotypical, child. And I'm going to tell you why that's needed. Originally opening up, our group home, we were taking kids that were considered at risk, and I'll put that in parentheses because that is a very vague meaning of what at risk is. And that just was not the right group of residents, kids for us and what we were looking to do. My background is in special education, so I'm very familiar with, individual education plans and knowing, those laws of what's needed and just knowing how to differentiate, working with those that just see the world different. The kids we had, they were, being at risk. They had some other things going on, and there were other programs I think might have been better fit for them. But you're just so excited. Okay, hey, there's a need, and that's that's why we're in this business anyway, is because we want to serve a need, so we're like, hey, we'll take them on. And we weren't really looking or even asking for certain documents, which is a whole nother conversation, just so you can understand some of the trauma that the kids have dealt with. And when you put kids with a lot of various trauma, different behaviors that don't really gel well, that is a prescription for a disaster. And super thankful that we were able to overcome that and kind of niche down. But in the beginning, had no clue about picking a niche, and picking who we felt comfortable working with and who we felt comfortable, or the information that we felt comfortable with sharing of how to work with individuals like our staff. We need to be able to train them to work with the kids. And trust me, the kids we had before and the kids we have now, some of the same issues, problems, but some of it's a little bit different, a little bit, at least in my mind, it's easier to work with, just with my background, working and having a business in applied behavior analysis, just using that science with the kids, it makes a difference. So this number 3 is something that I tell anybody whenever you want to start a business. And of course, I'm saying today, this is what you need to know for your your group home, your residential group home that you're looking to start. But the number 3 thing, mindset. Whenever you decide to go into this business, you really need to have your mind in the right place and just understand that things are not going to work right the first time. And that's okay. But you can't quit. And again, very thankful, man, stopped the business, thought we were out of it, and we were able to, come back in and niche down. And it really, really was ingrained in me, okay, mindset. Like, wow, we have to make this work. It has to work, or it has to work. You really have to have that mindset, because that definitely is an investment that you make into a home, putting in things like fire sprinklers and fire alarms, because trust me, when it's time to sell, because thankfully we do own our land, it's kind of hard to sell a home that has fire sprinklers. So you're talking about spending money to pull out the fire alarm and fire sprinklers to put back on the market. And that's another investment in itself. So when you go into this, just go into it knowing that it's going to work. Things are going to break. And I've definitely learned that over time. And now I have some contacts with some great maintenance, people that can come in and fix things. But that mindset is the biggest thing, because if you don't have that mindset, it has to work or has to work, then it's going to fail. And we definitely need more residential, group home businesses throughout, the state of Florida, throughout the United States. I'm sure this could apply to other countries too, but just have that mindset. So again, I'm just going to go over those top 3 things again. Of course, number 1, got to know those zoning laws. That's super, super, super important. Number 2, got to have a niche. Very important. Don't just take anybody. That's, again, a prescription for a disaster. Number 3, you have to have that mindset. Hey, if you liked what you just saw, please subscribe, like. If you didn't like it, even comment, what do you think about this? We will be providing more videos over time, just going over various behavioral business needs and topics. Of course, we're going to be heavy in the group home world, because that is a world that I am in currently, and I'm experiencing it and learning so much that I just want to share with you, the viewers. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Arthur Harrison III, very active, or like to email me, thebizbehavior@gmail.com. Have a great day.